easiest way for us to
a roll call of Ipswich
get on this
Town
back.
supporters.
Hello, guys.
So basic.
Last year, photographs of all of them with their
Hello,
names
Cabby.
up, and
I'll
nice
do a
touch,
quick
all those Ipswich
shout out
fans
to
on
everybody who's
just
joined
watching
in
all
the
applauding as
chat.
the name
Mike,
roll call.
welcome on from Melbourne.
Sadly,
Super
it's
Oak
going
Row
on
from
and
sunny
on. It's not
Edmonton,
short, and,
Canada,
but
minus
it's been,
35 degrees. That is horrific.
Greatly appreciated.
In
here
case
in
you're
the
welcome
row.
along. I'm good to not be at the game like I should have been. Oh, sorry to hear that. Bean Burger Man, great name. I wish Speakerman would pick his team based on form and not sell on value. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's what form are we looking at? Because the FA Cup counts as our current form. So, not many players in that starting 11 against Newcastle I think deserve to still be in the squad. But there you are. You've got Dean would rather have Rushan on the wing than who. I don't know who I was going to line up, to be fair. Paul, good to see you from Dubai. We'll do predictions in the second, Paul, but I've got yours noted down and Mike's from earlier on.
Indeed,
Ben,
Rob,
welcome
thanks
along.
ever so much
It's very
joining
bad,
us
no Greg.
this
Yeah, no
evening.
Greg on the
Talk
bench.
Cheers,
Or
Rob Mason,
Greg
Sunderland
or
club
Rig on the
historian.
bench.
One
You
change
caught
to
me there,
Sunderland,
Dale.
Bar in
Well
for
done.
Rusyn, he's on the bench.
Job is up front with Bar,
This evening for
the right.
Sunderland, kick
Good
off not
training.
far away.
Okay, if we're
Let's hear
playing
from Sunderland's
Bar
head coach,
and
Michael
Job
Beale.
up front
I
as
caught up with
like
him
a
late this
classic
week.
4-4-2, maybe I'll get behind it. But there we go. And Kieran, the Ipswich fan, welcome along. Right, Cabby.
Hello.
What are you thinking to no strikers starting for Sunderland again?
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. I think they were chuffed a bit with a point today. But it's
What, Ipswich would or Sunderland would?
Sunderland.
Yeah.
I think that's what their aim is today. But it's becoming the norm. It's becoming the norm, isn't it? Even
Sadly, yeah.
we haven't got a striker. It's getting to be on a joke, to be honest with you.
I think I tweeted or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Just to say to that effect, like it needs, for me, if Beale's not starting a striker, I'm getting bored of bringing it up. No, it's not like a unique thing here. It's just the basics. Why are our strikers only confident enough off the bench for 15 minutes? Aren't we? We're halfway through a season. Why are we buying players that are not ready at all for starting games? Why have we got Burstow, who's a loanee from Chelsea, who's not trying to itch at the bit to get on a starting 11 week in, week out? It's the same thing each and every week at this stage. We've got 90 minutes ahead of us of potentially some dogged, rough football based on what I'm seeing in this lineup. Yeah, we'll see. We're setting ourselves up, like Ben says, for a last 10-minute push, maybe. Sky Sports saying both teams will be attacking minded. I mean, Sky Sports sometimes know what they're talking about, but I've not got that confidence here today. David, Mr. Neutral.
Hello.
I think you're becoming someone's definitely becoming your second team.
Yeah. I don't know why you're not playing a striker. I've said many times now, like, you've got 4 strikers, you should be using them. I'm not entirely sure why you're not.
It's not even in rotation either, though, is it? Like, if one of them's not in, nobody's replacing the other one. Rushan was in last game. Why is he not in there now? Because he had a what's it called? An anonymous game against Newcastle.
Yeah, that also goes with why are you starting Bar? Like, he's not great. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Why? I just just why?
Don't get me wrong though. I think these two teams are not as far apart as some people like to suggest. We're only 4 points difference between it.
Yeah, cheers, Gordon, for
no, 4 points, 4 places, a couple of points. They had a really good spell, but they're on a bad run of form at the moment. I wouldn't say it's a horrific. They've not lost many. They've lost 1 in 5. They've only picked up 4 points. So
yeah,
you've just got to balance it out and say, like, look, if it does go against Ipswich, as long as we pick up something, that for me is a half a victory. It's just showing all the results on the screen there, so I'll pop them through, just so you can see them as well. I'll go back to front so you can't see them. We've got a couple more people popping in the chat, and we'll go through predictions as well, if that's okay with everyone. Paul saying, I hope Broadhead doesn't become our nemesis. You and me both. He scored in our last game against us, and he's up for it. Let's go that way. But they haven't scored in, I think it's 3 games, 2.5 games. Ipswich, so maybe we might be all right. And they're without 3 key players, like Mike said at the start. 3 key men, and he's hoping for a 2-1 win. I'm going to say a Sunderland 1-0 win. Just a snatch and grab, but it could easily go the other way. I'm not going to be like absolutely braggy about it. I'm a little bit pessimistic today, and I'm not normally like that, so maybe read into that as much as you like. You've got Ben saying 2-1 Sunderland as well as Paul Campbell saying 2-1 Sunderland. So a lot of people backing Sunderland with 2-1 today. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat. David, what are you saying?
I'm going to go with the 2-2.
High scoring, free flowing football.
Yep.
Okay, I like the sound of it. We'll see how it pans out. Cabby,
Hello.
what's your prediction for this one, mate?
An easy 3-0 win for Ipswich, unfortunately.
Okay.
I was actually bang on with the Newcastle score. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of your clip last week. I said 2-0 before kick-off. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't think it has the same vibes as Newcastle. This is just more of a run-of-the-mill, get back into league action game.
It is. I think the Sunderland fans are still feeling a bit sort of we need a pick-me-up for God's sake. That's what we need.
This could be the game for it. Jacob, what you say, mate?
1-1.
1-1. Point. Would you be happy with a point?
Yeah. Considering it's Ipswich, where Ipswich are, you know.
Yeah. What did Ipswich need to achieve today to be happy with the result for them? Because I think the only person in the chat at the moment that can answer that is Kieran, who says he is an Ipswich fan. Let me interact so I can see this a bit better. So Ipswich need a point. Ipswich need a point to climb back into second place. We need a point to climb back into sixth. So a point would actually do us both okay.
So, Rusty Mackham in Gran Canaria.
So maybe we could be happy with the result. Both teams being alright with that. I think Sunderland obviously wanting to win, so it puts that little bit of gap between the mid-table point and where Coventry are. So everybody Cardiff up can be in the playoffs at the end of next weekend. If results go their way, if Sunderland win, then it's only any teams down at Middlesbrough in 9th. So we cut a couple of teams on, which to climb for more teams whilst they're all competing.
Hello, Mick Griffiths. I'm thinking 200 feet of open wrong. Yeah, I know where you're
20 games to go. Loads of time. Look forward to seeing you. Very happy today. Thank you. And whilst talking about me being very happy, I'm going to get my lucky wig out just in case. We should be all right. The team's all lining up, so we minutes away from it. If I change that off, I'll show you. There you go. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice touch. Good morning. Where are you talking from, Gabby? Are you wearing your Ipswich shirt?
I've got my favourite top.
The yellow one.
30,000 at Portman Road.
Right, I just want to come. Yeah, it looks like everybody can hear it as well. So that's good. We've got the team. Boom, boom, boom. Right, whilst they're playing music, I can't do it. Was that insomnia? Can't get no sleep by Aveless? I think. Hello, Adam. Here we go. We're showing you the team lineups. Here we go. Valky, Clark, Rolgolfin, Edmondson, Davis at the back, Travis and Taylor with Burns, Chaplin and Broadhead, and Jackson up front. Now, obviously we all know a lot about Broadhead here at Sunderland. he's afraid.
And you'll note there's no
we have that, but we've got Burns on the other wing. I think it might be a little bit of a dark horse for us. We need to keep an eye on that. There's our line, according to Sky: Patterson, Hume, Unnan, Ballard, and Elise. Ekwar, Barr, Pratt, Pritchard, Neil, and Clark, with Bellingham up front. Bellingham up front makes more sense than Abdullah Barr, in my humble opinion.
For the fullbacks of Triantis and Matete.
You guys can hear it and see it in the Discord as well, right?
I am watching it on my own computer.
So if you are ahead, which has been
I'll wait for
shall we say?
I'll wait for the game to start and then I'll see what the difference is. I don't think it's going to be that much.
Yeah. Well, let's watch it. Let's hopefully enjoy it at the end of it. 2 hours in. Will I be as dejected as I feel right now? I don't know if that's the hangover of the Newcastle game, to be honest, or not. Or will I be absolutely excited and going, we're ready for the next step?
I think I'm like 3 seconds ahead of you.
That's alright. I think that's fine.
I was going to say, is that acceptable?
That's 3 seconds is fine. If it's 15, 20
I'm staring
seconds,
at Alex Pritchard. I'm still staring at Alex Pritchard. Still staring at Pritchard.
Yeah, Pritchard.
Still Pritchard. They really like Pritchard.
We're talking about him.
And now it's switched.
Oh, no, you're actually in time. You're in time with me then.
Right.
Barr has been playing out of his pocket for game time. Barr has been paying out of his pocket. There was other suggestions. Was it Dale or was it Roker? Yeah, it was Roker before the stream went live. I kind of agree with what Roker says about Barr's position in the squad.
Copy 3000.
Pritchard will just play as a 10, that's what I presume, and maybe Barr maybe play.
Please leave Barr alone. You sound like, oh, what was that? Leave
Britney alone.
Leave Barr alone. Yeah, there you go. Would you give Pritchard a new contract? Yes, absolutely.
Last year.
Where we pay tribute to all Blues that are sadly no longer with us. A minute's applause will now take place, starting at the
That's funny. That actually tickled me.
Doing a minute's applause
Once a Smurf or it's a Smurf?
I don't know. Say the same with the Reds, isn't it? Red and White Army. Is this must be their first home game then? Because it's about 2 weeks into the year, and I think they're doing like this is for everybody who passed in last year. Oh, yeah, that's nice. There. Where's Rig gone? Back to school. Dean, back to school. That was a very quick minute.
It was, wasn't it?
Right, we shall get ready for the live stats, the match timer, and the game itself.
43-year-old from Chippenham, we haven't seen him for a couple of years. We last saw him at Vale Park.
If anybody wants us to re-go through the lineup, more than happy to. Patterson, Hume, Ballard, O'Neill, and Elise at the back. Neil, Ekwar, holding midfielders.
There we are. I've now got the company talking in the background. I was just chatting before the game, but now that's turned off. Let's listen into the company and let's see if the lads can do the business.
As the players break away from their huddle, the Ipswich players.
Come on, City.
Sunderland away to our right. We hear a rendition of Hey Jude. Do you know who Hey Jude's written about? Which Jude? Do you know who it's written about? Which Jude?
Bellingham.
No. Julian Lennon. There you are. I read that this week. As Pritchard stands with his foot on the ball on the halfway line away to our right. As we look down from the back of the main stand here. And Ipswich Town to our left, as I say, in their blue and white. And referee Sam Allison gets this game underway with both teams looking to get back to the positions in which at 3 o'clock this afternoon they started the afternoon. Ipswich in second place and Sunderland in 6th. Both of them have dropped a place as a consequence of this afternoon's results. The ball back with Luke Wolfenden, Ipswich born, the 25-year-old centre-back, just behind the centre circle, pushes it on to Jack Taylor, who plays it back to Leif Davis, who was, to George Edmondson. Leif Davis is pushed forwards on the left, the Newcastle-born left back in after injury. The ball given away by Jack Taylor to Barr, and he tried to get through, and Pritchard's just ahead of him, but too many blue shirts in front of him. And it comes back to Luke O'Nien, as you, I think, correctly assumed. Job looks like he's playing up front. Pritchard will play just behind him. Barr's out on the right wing, though a fairly flat front three at the moment, as the ball comes back through to Ballard, who takes it away from Caden Jackson and plays it wide down the right wing, and it bounces out for a throw to Ipswich Town. Anthony Patterson's in yellow, and at the other end, Blacklav Hackley, the Czech goalkeeper for Ipswich, is in green, light green. So 0-0 in this opening couple of minutes, live on BBC Radio Newcastle ahead of tomorrow's bonanza of women's football from 11:30 in the morning, when we've got coverage of all 3 of our team's FA Cup ties. As the ball goes across on the far side to George Edmondson, signed from Rangers a couple of years ago, plays it back to Wolfenden. He's looking to get it down the right wing onto the head of Wes Burns, into the middle, Connor Chaplin, but it's cleared by Luke O'Nien, back up into the Ipswich half, away down this right side. Goalkeeper's come right out, almost onto the touchline, in fact he is, and he just taps it down the touchline to Harry Clark, and the former Leeds and Stoke, the former Hibs and Stoke man gets it back inside to Luke Wolfenden, who brings us out and plays it wide to Leif Davis.
I think after the first couple of minutes, Nick, you've seen that every time it's a left to right ball, they're looking to try to get Burns in on this right hand side.
He's a good player, Wes Burns.
Yeah.
I think a few clubs were coveting him when he was signed from Fleetwood a couple of years ago, having begun his career the Welsh international at Bristol City. Down on the touchline, his hair in a ponytail, calling for the ball here, but it's played again, given away by Ipswich. Jack Clark on the left. He's tackled.
Can you hear me all right, yeah?
Travis, who's on loan from Blackburn, and in for the suspended Sam Morsey, and back to Wolfenden in the centre circle. Taylor again, wide to Davis, inside to Taylor, and it's blocked by Ekwa to Job. Job twists, turns, trying to get away from Broadhead, finds Ekwa, and then out wide, foul on Barr, just shy of the halfway line on the touchline. Free kick to Sunderland. Pritchard and Dan Neil barking at each other.
Yeah, they're having words, aren't they?
They are. Pritchard doesn't look very happy. Dan Neil looked quite angry. The ball out to Elise on the left, down the line, past Clark. He let it run through for Pritchard to run onto, but it's whipped out and touched by Travis, the 26-year-old captain of Blackburn, and Pritchard leaves this for Elise to take halfway inside the Ipswich half. Back to Dan Neil wide on halfway, back to Dan Ballard. Ballard here again to Dan Neil, out to Elise, and he takes it into the
Can you hear me all right, though, yeah?
half, out to Clark, and he's got Clark, the other one, Harry, all over
Can you guys hear all right?
But Jack Clark plays it back to Ballard.
Hello?
Ballard across to Luke O'Nien.
Oh, you can hear me, that's
wide
fine.
then to Trey Hume, finds Ekwa in the gap, just right of the centre circle, lays it off to Dan Neil. Neil just ahead of him, Joe, back to Dan Neil, who threads it through to Barr, and now Barr to Pritchard just to his right, and going down the right of the penalty area. Pritchard takes a shot from 23 yards, but over the crossbar.
At least he's being positive there, Pritchard trying to get his shot away.
5th minute, 0-0 still, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. The ball tapped by Edmondson from the left corner of the 6-yard box to Wolfenden.
I'm back. Can you hear me loud and clear, yeah?
Plays it back to Edmondson on the left, and Edmondson brings this out, and Pritchard goes to close him down, back to Wolfenden, and Wolfenden in the middle of his own half, trying to lob it over the top for Caden Jackson, but O'Nien's headed it back to Anthony Patterson.
Cheers, Gordon Pack. Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot, lads.
Patterson feigned to roll it to his left to Dan Ballard, but then does so and Ballard brings this out. Caden Jackson gives chase, and it's laid off to Elise on the left wing. Down to Jack Clark, Harry Clark all over him, and Jack Clark managed to steer it inside to Pritchard. Job looking for the run of Elise, Harry Clark getting in front of him. Down into the corner, Elise whips the ball off him, loses Harry Clark into the penalty area, pulls it back here, a chance for Job, a save by the keeper. Gladkey went down, the shot was on target, but Gladkey was behind it. Out to Ekwa, now to Hume on the right, he crosses, looking for Elise, drops over him and comes out for a throw to Ipswich on this right wing.
Well done, Elise. You know, charging that ball down, never give up, kept it in. So he's found Bellingham, and it's a good effort, good save by the goalkeeper.
Trouble is, it was straight at him, really, wasn't it?
Well, that's another shot, Nick.
Yeah.
You know, we've had 2 shots, 1 on target.
You're beginning to think if you could have steered that either corner, it'd probably been a goal, but they got the ball in the box. That's another issue. So they've got one early doors into the penalty area. But as you say, down to Elise's perseverance. Here he is again on the left, hooks one high in the air, pushing the back of Job from Wolfenden, but the play goes on. Ekwa nods it down past Broadhead to Hume, forwards to Barr. He's caught by Jack Taylor, no foul, says Sam Allison, and the ball swept up into the hands of Václav Hladký. Plays it out to Travis, out wide to Harry Clark, back to Wolfenden, and Wolfenden right through the middle into the centre circle. Jack Taylor looking for Wes Burns. Elise has to go back here with him. Burns into the penalty area, squares it. That was, well, I think Ipswich should be thinking they should be one up, because Caden Jackson stretched and missed it completely, and he had an open goal in front of him. It whipped past Patterson right through to the far side of the penalty area. Great ball in from Wes Burns. It's still 0-0. We could have had a goal at either end. The ball played out finally for a throw to Sunderland.
Yeah, you can see what Wes Burns brings to the team. You know, direct, balls played into space, he's got pace, but again, it's the delivery, the quality of ball went into the box.
Caden Jackson will be wondering how he didn't make contact. Throw for Sunderland. Elise being urged on by the referee to Jack Clark, back to Elise. He's put the ball out under pressure from Jack Taylor. Harry Clark will take this throw just down from Kieran McKenna, the 37-year-old manager or head coach of Ipswich Town, former Manchester United assistant manager, appointed in December 2021 as Lewis Travis tries to get the ball through, but won by Ekwa after a challenge by Job. It takes a deflection, is won back by Wes Burns, plays it into the middle here to Nathan Broadhead, and he's overhit his pass to Davis, and it's swept out on the far side below the Sunderland fans, over in the far corner for a throw to Sunderland. In the 9th minute, 0-0 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. It's Pritchard to Dan Neil, back to Ballard, forwards to Dan Neil again, and now Ekwa in a bit of space up to the halfway line, making a run forwards, and the ball played out to Barr on the far wing. Barr taps it behind him to Hume, inside to Ekwa, back out to Hume on the right, halfway inside the Ipswich half. Ekwa back to Luke O'Nien on halfway, right at the centre circle. Ballard here on the left-hand side. He's started on the left tonight. Ballard here again, and will play it across to O'Nien, away from Caden Jackson, and wide again for Trey Hume, who plays it back to O'Nien at the edge of his area, across to Dan Ballard, and Ballard out to Elise on the left-hand side.
Oh,
looking for Jack Clark, but whipped out by Harry Clark, but Jack Clark wins it back. Inside to Pritchard, into the centre circle to Ekwa, quickly out to Barr on the far wing, and Hume making a run forwards ahead of him. It's played in the middle towards Pritchard, but cut out, and comes back now to Jack Taylor, who initially cut it out, and then makes a bad pass for a throw to Sunderland. Well, both teams have been giving it away, haven't they? And both teams then quickly winning it back. Hume with a throw right back to O'Nien, into the middle to Dan Ballard. Ballard in the centre circle.
Come on, lads.
To Elise, and
We're passing the
To
ball
Elise
nicely, like
from
round here.
Jack Clark. And out again through Luke O'Nien. Gets it back, forwards to Equa. And into the centre circle, Dan Neal whips it out here to Jack Clark, taking on Harry Clark. Checks corner of the penalty area and plays it back to Elise. Elise just inside of him to Dan Neal. A block by Travis, and it's come back into the Sunderland half. Elise plays it inside to Dan Neal, and then to Dan Ballard. Ballard out to the far side to Luke O'Nien, looking for Pritchard, but it sailed past him. Back to Halaki, and then up a long ball looking for Caden Jackson, headed down by Dan Ballard from the 29-year-old. Wide to Hume into Barr, but his first time pass forwards again eluded Pritchard and has gone out for a throw to Ipswich. 12th minute, 0-0. Ball back with Luke Wolfenden strolling up through the middle of his half. Job goes to close him down. He passes it to Harry Clark, 10 feet to his right. Back to Wolfenden through the middle again to Jack Taylor. Back to Wolfenden, out to Edmondson. Edmondson into the middle again to Wolfenden, and Wolfenden taps it to Travis, who plays it back to the goalkeeper under pressure from Jack Clark. Michael Beale trying to urge his players to push on.
50 in the chat, click that thumbs up button please if you can. Anybody new listening, just click the subscribe button. Like 2 subscribers already, so thanks for that.
Closed down by Joe, played back to Edmondson. Pritchard goes to close them down. Jack Taylor spins away from him, lifts it over the top, nobody there. It'll roll out for a throw to Sunderland, deep back inside their half on the right-hand side. Hume will take the throw. Hume, O'Nien behind him, and he finds Barr. Back to Hume, shanks his pass forwards out for a throw to Ipswich, taken just forwards of the halfway line by Edmondson. Back to Wolfenden, and he taps it to his left a couple of feet on halfway. Edmondson forwards, Broadhead, his pass back to Taylor, cut out by Pritchard. Back to Hume, forwards again to Job. Job now, he's twisted away from two, but caught by Broadhead, and Broadhead now is caught by Job, who wins it back. And Job getting forwards if he can. It took a touch though off Taylor, comes back to Wolfenden, and he plays it to Edmondson to his left, and forwards again Taylor, and back here now to Wolfenden, and Edmondson forwards to Travis, back to Edmondson, now with Wolfenden. Job goes to close him down, short pass to Harry Clark, and back to the goalkeeper at the edge of his D, and Clarkey plays it out to Edmondson again on the left-hand side in his own half. Down the left wing, Leif Davis getting away here. O'Nien in front of him, and Hume, but played inside. Equa spins on the ball to bring it out, but he's caught by Jackson. Now Chaplin out to Burns on this right side of the penalty area. Burns looking to roll it back in here.
Great block.
And a block on the 6-yard line from Taylor's shot. And it comes back down to Burns, who turns it inside again here. Chaplin trying to dig it out. He's got Elise in front of him. Burns down to his right. Equa plays it off Pritchard. Luckily it falls back to Equa, and then he's brought down. Well, what a block from Taylor's shot on the 6-yard line to prevent the goal.
Excellent block. But it's just a warning sign there. You know, we picked him out, but it was a fantastic block there. Fantastic. But again, Burns is the man who's involved.
He's dangerous.
Yeah.
Hello Callum Hall, how you doing, mate?
He's the one who's creating everything on his right-hand side. He's a threat.
Nearly 15 minutes played, 0-0. As O'Nien whips it down the right wing. Wolfden gets away from Pritchard, plays it back to the goalkeeper, and he taps it back to Wolfenden, left corner of the Ipswich penalty area. into midfield, taps it back again to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, welcome to the channel,
Out to
Callum
the edge of
lad.
his area.
Today.
Three stretched across the back for Ipswich here. It comes out to Harry Clark on the right-hand side, and he brings it back into the middle and rolls it back to Edmondson. He brings it forwards to the halfway line and tried to slip it through, blocked by Barr, but comes off him for Jack Taylor. Through the middle now to Caden Jackson. Chaplin lets it run out to Burns on the right wing. Burns with Elise backing off him. Burns cross again. Great ball in, but cleared. Travis trying to get on the end of it. It's brought down, no, says the referee. Joe got a nice contact to the ball, and away goes Barr and plays it behind Pritchard on halfway for a throw to Ipswich.
You know, and you're just looking at Burns on this side. Every time he gets the ball, there's only one way he wants to go. He wants to go down the line, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You've got to show him inside.
Burns
show
calling
him to
for
the
it
pack.
again. It's come back to Wolfenden again. Burns is just stalking this right touchline.
He is indeed. And the thing is, he's looking for the ball. He gets on the ball.
We had more
You know,
possession
our
in the
attack
first
is
3
Jack
minutes of
Clark.
this
He
match
hasn't
than they
been
did
able
the
to get
whole
on
of
the ball.
90 against the Newcastle game.
Chaplin's just put it out. It's a throw to Sunderland, halfway inside their own half on the left.
We've got to try to get him in the game.
Tony Huntington, well, anyone who
Michael
thinks
Beale had a
09
quick word with Jack
is
Clark
good at
then.
centre back to
And,
very good stops.
Elise
Bob
to
playing his
Joe, back
usual
to
blinder.
Elise.
Yeah, I know.
Elise trying to find Jack Clark, who hooks it on more optimistically than in any hope of actually getting on the end of it. It's headed away by Wolfenden. Straight to Job. Job across to Hume on the far side. We're in the 17th minute, and Hume has got Barr inside of him. Barr now back to Luke O'Nien into the centre circle to Dan Ballard. Ballard plays it to Dan Neal just to his right. Neal through to Pritchard. Pritchard under pressure from Travis, back to Ballard. Ballard now to Dan Neal. Dan Neal up over halfway on the right, wide to Hume on the touchline, and he will play it back behind him. Dan Neal back to Ballard in the centre circle. Elise on the left, back to Ballard, and through the middle to Dan Neal. Pritchard to his left-hand side, out wide Jack Clark, of course. Pritchard at the corner of the penalty area, lays it off to Jack Clark. Harry Clark in front of him. Jack Clark comes back, calling for help, finds Dan Neal behind him now. Elise overhits the pass.
Unlucky.
And out for a throw.
And I think they just want a little bit more, don't they? Movement up there.
Yeah. Pritchard's trying to engineer it as the ball comes back to Wolfenden from the throw. In
Massive
the
thank you
box
for
across
everybody
to
joining
Edmondson.
me this Saturday evening.
Edmondson. Leif Davis has
in
made
the
a
chat.
run forwards down that left touchline in the 19th minute now, still 0-0 as the ball is passed back to
Should have got the yellow one on.
goalkeeper.
Yeah, and Chaplin's the one who's causing a problem as well, because he's just playing in that hole, isn't he?
And he's literally not even touching the ball very often, but he's feigning, isn't he, to make runs.
See, he's gone in field now, and Alessi's got to pick him up, but there's Burns
and
on
that
the
leaves
right.
Burn wide on the right. It's astute play, because Burns is, has left Elise caught in no man's land between Chaplin and where's Burns? Throw to Ipswich, picked up by Broadhead into Chaplin. Chance for Jackson, puts it just past the foot.
Yeah,
of
if
the
anybody's
post
wondering
on
why
the
I
Luke
ain't
O'Nien.
speaking as much
And
as
that's
the
what
other
they've got to be
channels, is
wary
the
of.
fact, like,
We've identified
this
that.
is like
We've
mostly the
identified
commentary. I
Chaplin
want
is the
you
one
guys
who's
to
just
hear
playing
the
in that
match
hole, just in
rather
that
than me
space.
going yappity
And
yappity
he's
yappity,
causing-
if anybody's
he's causing
wondering.
problems, because who's going to pick him up?
He's on the shoulder of Dan Neal now, Chaplin, as the ball's played out from the back again. Jackson chases Dan Ballard, who is fouled by Jackson at the edge of the penalty area, tripped up by Caden Jackson.
I'm
Back
not
to
sure.
Patterson in his yellow, to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien out wide to Trey Hume. Forwards down the touchline to Barr. Barr under pressure, plays it back to Hume into the middle to Dan Neal. He's immediately under pressure from Chaplin, out to eventually Elise, and to Jack Clark, who plays it back to Dan Ballard. And Dan Ballard brings this forwards, then plays it out ahead of Elise. A moment's lack of concentration. Burns here on the touchline, plays it back to Harry Clark. inside then to Jack Taylor, and he plays it out to Lewis Travis on this right wing, to Burns, back to Travis, and Pritchard trying to
Cheers,
get
Tony,
the ball
mate.
off him, but Travis stretches, gets it back to Harry Clark. Wolfenden, now Jack Taylor, back to Wolfenden in the centre circle, flicked on by Broadhead, looking for Caden Jackson, but headed away by Dan Ballard, and Dan Neal trying to get away now from Jack Taylor, plays it down to Barr on the right wing. Leif Davis closes him down, trying to get the ball off him, but Barr holds him off and plays it back to Dan Neal, and eventually back through Job to Ballard, and through again the middle to Job in the centre circle. Job out to Hume.
No turn.
And now Neal again in the centre circle. Short pass forwards to Pritchard. Neal back to Equa on this left-hand side. Lays it off to Jack Clark. And Ballard in the middle of the Sunderland half. Across to the right to Luke O'Nien. And out wide then to Hume. Approaching the halfway mark in the first half. 0-0. Live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Forwards from Elise to Pritchard, and he's played it behind Clark. Clark was saying, I wanted the ball played ahead of me down the line.
Nick, how many times have we seen that happen? 3 times I've counted already, where we just passed it out. Communication.
The radar just a little bit off at the moment. Edmondson.
Look at Burns.
Why? I mean, he couldn't get any closer to the
Chaplin's
touchline,
there,
could he?
because Chaplin's causing Elise problems.
Chaplin's dragged Elise inside. Out wide on the other side, left-hand side, and Leif Davis through to Chaplin, trying to flick it through to Burns, but Elise's managed to get the ball away. It's come back to Lewis Travis, and now he gets it back again through the middle to Chaplin, and now finds Broadhead, tried to slip it through to Jackson.
Yeah, we are sloppy with some of the passes, Jonathan.
Barr on the right hand side, Job making a run alongside of him. Barr checks under pressure from Davis. Back to Equa. Equa turns away from Jackson, leaves it for Hume. Hume up onto the halfway line on the right hand side, and Hume in the red and white stripes of Sunderland out to Equa, who plays it back to Luke O'Nien, right side of his own midfield, and to his left is Ballard, and wide is Elise. Plays it back to Dan Ballard. Ballard across to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien wide to Hume, back to O'Nien at the edge of his area, back to Anthony Patterson. Taps it to Ballard, wide to Elise. Elise, Burns closes him down. Jack Clark flicks it back, looking for Elise, plays it into the middle, into the path of Job. He's brought down by Harry Clark on halfway. Yellow card for Harry Clark. From referee Sam Allison. And the free kick is a yard inside the Ipswich half, just to the left of the centre circle. It's Newcastle 0, Manchester City 1, in a game which is on BBC Radio Newcastle's FM frequencies this evening. We're in the 24th minute here. It's Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 0. 11:30 tomorrow morning. We have build-up and commentary from 3 Women's FA Cup games: Durham Women, Sunderland Women and Newcastle United Women. There's the ball with Pritchard, looking for Clark. Oh, he tried to place it, but somehow Clagley read it, went down and blocked it.
I tell you what, great run by Bellingham. Job, great run, great touch into Pritchard. Pritchard finds Clark, and Clark didn't think twice.
He was
Clark should have done better.
Trying to place it as he does. But
it was more of a pass back. It was on target, but there was a little bit of power in that shot from Clark. Need a bit of venom, a bit of whip in that shot, and it would have been 1-0 to Sunderland.
3 shots.
So Pritchard then from the left is looked up at the Ipswich fans to his left. I don't know if something was said or...
No, because he used to play for Norwich.
He did. I knew he used to play for Norwich. He's obviously going to get a little bit of jip for that.
That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're giving him jip for that.
The referee's ready now as well. Pritchard then from the left-hand side. in the 26th minute. Curls in here, headed away by Travis Clark. Jack Clark tries to head it back, but he played it sideways. It's dropped eventually for Barr on the far side.
Well done, Barr.
Holds
Well
off
done.
Harry Clark, and he's got the overlap from Job on the right, but he's taken this into the penalty area. Still going, Barr, and now lays it off to Jack Clark onto his right. What a goal!
Get in! That was Abdullah Barr. Abdullah Barr created that. Abdullah Barr created that.
Finish from Jack Clark for his 13th of the season.
What a strike that is, Nick.
Get in!
And again, don't think about
Watch
it.
that-
Just
watch-
do
watch
it. And
Barr
that's
here,
what
man.
he's done, Just pull the trigger. What a finish.
It fell to him from Barr, and you have to applaud Barr for the work he did there. Brought it in, played it back to the edge of the penalty area. Clark had no hesitation, getting it onto his right foot and just lashing it past Václav Klagli. Jack Clark gives Sunderland the lead.
I'm so pleased for Barr there, like, so pleased for
And you
him.
look back on it, Nick, that's our 4th shot we've had.
He's going to get player of the season, Barr, like.
What we weren't doing enough was shooting, weren't we? Especially around that 18-yard box. We was trying to walk the ball in at times, but what a strike that was from Jack Clark. Great finish.
Well, the statistic, of course, we mentioned at the start of the programme, the only team in the whole of the 4 divisions that when they've taken the lead, they've not lost the game. As Jack Clark tries to get the ball forwards again down the left-hand side here. Ipswich 0, Sunderland 1, and that was a lovely, lovely finish from Jack Clark. Here are Ipswich trying to respond wide with Leif Davis bringing it back into the centre circle. Edmondson outside of it, back to Wolfenden at the back of it, and just thinking back to that goal, Klagli had no chance, absolutely no chance.
But you look at that, and Jack Clark struck that ball with a player who's playing with a little bit of confidence today.
It's the save just beforehand by Klagli, that there's nothing he could do about the one a minute later. Here's Harry Clark, Jack Clark just in front of him, plays it into the middle inside Wolfenden, and he plays it out to the left to Edmondson, and
look at Burns.
he's
That's the worry.
wide again, isn't he, with nobody to close him down. He cuts inside and gets it now, Burns, wide to Harry Clark into the penalty area. Now low ball across the face of Patterson. He just got fingertips to it, Patterson, and it's a corner to Ipswich.
Can't afford to give the ball away that cheaply, Nick.
Fingertip save from
Good save by Patterson. He got his fingers to it.
So Ipswich's first corner.
Concentrate here.
Sunderland leading, and it's whipped
Well
into Job to clear and back up on halfway on the left-hand side. Leif Davis inside to Wolfenden, overhits the pass down the left of the penalty area. Little run behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. Anthony Patterson going down, just getting enough of fingertips on that Harry Clark effort. So in the 30th minute now, half an hour nearly played, Ipswich 0, Sunderland 1. Ball placed between O'Nien and Ballard. Ballard passes it out to Elise. Burns goes to close him down. It comes off Burns' back. Back to Ballard. Swings it out to Jack Clark down the right wing. Travis back down the right to Harry Clark. Travis again, and he tried to lift it forwards, but it's come off the head of Jack Clark for a throw, which Wes Burns takes quickly, and then eventually to Edmondson, and out wide to Davis, halfway inside the Sunderland half. Jack Taylor just inside him, plays it back onto the halfway line.
See, this is where they need to speak to Dan Neil, just to be aware, just look over your shoulder where
Just seeing the
Chapman
stats
is.
wins
Playing
from
in that
scoring
hole.
first goal,
glancing
Sunderland
at
have none.
Neil,
Surely that's
what
wrong.
Chapman's
I don't know,
doing.
I'll have to look at that.
As Broadhead tries
Sorry.
to get forwards, Ganekwa forces him back to Edmondson, inside to Wolfenden in the centre circle, and then out wide to Harry Clark on the right hand side here. Jack Clark goes to close him down. Harry Clark looks at the referee, felt that Jack Clark had impeded him, but the referee's just ignored him, and the ball played up and into the path of Luke O'Nien, looking for Pritchard. It might fall for Jobe. He gets on the end of it and finds Pritchard just behind him. Then he's barged over by Jack Taylor. The advantage initially played by the referee, but then Pritchard was
That's
a
point stop from
steamroller.
second from scoring first
And it's
goal.
a free kick.
Right.
To Sunderland on the right, inside, just inside the Ipswich half. So you hear the Sunderland fans on that far side and the upper level.
Yeah, fantastic turnout again, Nick. You know,
Sky just love
5:30
Sunderland, like,
exactly,
don't they? They
one of the
love
changes
picking us on
at
Sky.
Ipswich.
Kick-off time.
it's not the
exactly.
easiest place to get to.
Well done to them. Pritchard with the free kick.
Good delivery. Just play it into that space.
Hume back in the centre circle. Pritchard whips this up. It's headed away by Edmondson, only as far as Jack Clark. And Jack Clark plays it across to Pritchard, who's just on halfway down the right wing to Barr. Barr ahead of him, O'Nien. O'Nien, across comes Edmondson. O'Nien's got in front of him in the corner, and there's a bit of pulling and tugging. O'Nien's still got the ball.
No.
It looks as though it's gone out
Gone
for
out.
a goal kick. It has. The ball comes back to the goalkeeper in the 32nd minute now. Ipswich Town 0, Sunderland 1, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1 at St James's Park, in the game that also kicked off at 5:30 this evening. Down wide on the left, Leif Davis back again from halfway to Edmondson into the middle to Travis, and Travis looking for the run of Burns. Perfect ball out to Burns on the
Well,
right.
go
Elise
down the
goes
line.
to close him down,
Go down the
and he's going
line.
to try and
That's
come
it,
round
don't
him
go
onto his
inside,
left
that's
foot.
better.
Newcastle have
Heads the ball out, and it's
equalised
up to
and
Barr to try
sort
and head
of
it away
nice
from
one.
Jack Taylor, but it drops to the Ipswich man, and he's got away after a slight stumble down into towards the corner, and is blocked by Hume, and Pritchard on that far side will drive this up, looking for Jobe through the middle, but Wolfenden gets in front of him. Leaves it for Travis, low ball play through to Chaplin, breaks for Jackson, 1-1. Caden Jackson equalises when Sunderland thought they'd cleared their lines.
Yeah, a mix up there between the Sunderland defence, Nick, and he's fallen to Jackson, and he's finished it well.
He did finish it well. Sunderland thought they got the ball clear. Ipswich won it back. Jackson pounced to the edge of the area, and
Defending again, man.
across Patterson to equalise for Ipswich.
Newcastle
So
now
now
2-1 up against Man
Sunderland
City.
Have to start all over again. 1-1.
Unreal.
We're in the 34th minute as a throw for Sunderland on the far side. To Barr from Hume, back again to Ballard, and out to Elise, back to Ballard at the edge of the penalty area, closed down by Jackson, gets it to Elise, pass Burns on to Jack Clark, to Pritchard inside now to Dan Neil. Neil's making a run forwards down the left wing. Jack Clark will sprint onto this, and he
That's
now
handball,
gets in the area,
referee.
slips it
Surely
through to Dan
God.
Neil, whipped off his feet,
That's a corner.
and that should have been a corner. Dan Neil's arguing, but it's been given as a goal kick.
Good build-up play on this left-hand side, Nick.
Newcastle United 2, Manchester City 1. Goals flying in this evening, 35th minute. Caden Jackson's only his 3rd goal of the season. Named in the starting 11 by Kieran McKenna ahead of Freddie Ladapo and Sonia Luco tonight. And it looks like his decision was justified. Here's Gladkey to Wolfenden, closed down by Pritchard.
Go on,
Press
Ed.
from Job. Gladkey has to play it out to Edmondson on the left. Job sprints after him. He slips over. Edmondson now, the route back, cut out by Pritchard. Job goes to press again, and Jackson just caught by O'Nien, rolls over on his back. Play goes on. Dan Neal is caught by Chaplin.
It's got to book him.
And it's going to be a yellow card. Is it, or is it not? He's come back to see what the problem is with Caden Jackson.
Got to start, the ball was nowhere near Jackson. Him and Luke O'Nien have gone to compete for the ball, but the ball wasn't played there. He was expecting it to be played to his feet.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
So Caden Jackson's up on his feet.
There's nothing wrong with him.
No. Referee's going to apply some spray in front of the ball here. It's right in the middle of the Ipswich half. Dan Neal's over the ball. And
Hello.
Allison just marching Chaplin back 10 yards. 1-1, 37th minute here at Portman Road.
I think both teams deserve to be 1-1. I think both teams
just to his right.
very, very cagey at the back, very nervy. I think. I think there's more goals in this game.
Hume lifts it over the right to Pritchard over the defender. It's won by Broadhead inside to Jack Taylor. Back up to the halfway line to Dan Neal.
I don't know how on earth that was not handball with one of their Ipswich players before. I don't know if you've seen that, but how is that not a handball?
Side, he's lifting it up for Joe through the right side of midfield. Brings it down. He's got Pritchard in support. Joe cutting into the centre. Then this nice ball short to Pritchard into the area, looking for Jack Clark, but the keeper comes out and intercepts it. Rolls it out to Wes Burns on this right wing, back inside to Travis. Inside of him, Jack Taylor looking for the run of Burns. Ballard cuts across him, and Ballard, Burns on his shoulder, down into the corner, plays it against Burns and out for a throw.
Good defending, Ballard.
So 1-1 as Elise 10 yards or so from the corner on the left to take the throw for Sunderland. Down the line he goes. Harry Clark heads it inside. Taylor gets a foot to it. Jack Clark, I think that was an ambitious attempt to try and lob the keeper, who was outside of his area. Jack Clark was pretty much on halfway. With Wolfenden now. Plays it out to the left to George Edmondson. Edmondson in his own half, still back into the middle to Wolfenden, who spins it across looking for Wes Burns. He gets his head on it, heads it out, and it's a throw to Sunderland. Harry Clark grabs the ball, finally just chucks it back down the line for Elise to take the throw for Sunderland. 39th minute, 1-1 between these two teams on BBC Radio Newcastle. As Elise with the throw, just a yard or two down from Kieran McKenna.
Would you guys be happy with the point then if it stays this way?
Clark back to Elise, headed away by Harry Clark, headed on again by Dan Neal. It'll come back to George.
Two
Edmondson.
handballs not given, says Tony, and Brian Hughes predicts 3-1
midfield to Jack Taylor just behind the centre circle. Behind him is Wolfenden, and Wolfenden turns away. Job just in front of him and plays it across to Edmondson again. Forward he comes over the halfway line, wide Leif Davis. Hume backtracking from him. Leif Davis cutting inside, avoids one tackle from Barr, comes to Burns here on the right, lobs it into the penalty area, headed away by Hume, off the head of Ballard, looking for his Burns, nods it back down to Jackson, and he's turned on it, but he's off target on the shoulder of Luke O'Nien.
Yeah, we've got to make sure we react to that second ball as well when it goes into that box.
Caden Jackson is due. He's making the defenders work, isn't he?
Yeah, he's putting himself about. He's letting them know he's there.
Elise hauls himself up. Referee's just saying a word.
Hey.
Ballard just taps the ball back to Patterson. 09 saying push on up to Dan Ballard. And this will be a kick then from Patterson. A rare kick as the players come across to this near side into the
Draw will do,
half.
says Gordon, but this game is winnable. Do you think this game is winnable then, lads?
Wide left.
Losses?
Elise gets his head on it. It's fouled by Burns. Just on halfway, a couple of the yards in from the touchline. Sam Allison, I think, just saying to me,
nothing less than a win. They ought after last week.
Responds. And Dan Neal will take the free kick. Forward, straight ahead of him, Jack Clark. Back to Neal, back into the middle of the Sunderland half. Down Ballard, and Ballard to Neal, and closed down by Chaplin. He's kept hold of the ball, Dan Neal. Plays it back to Dan Ballard, just outside the D. Back to Dan Neal. Chaplin goes to close it down, but Neal plays it out to 09 on the right-hand side. 09 then up to the halfway line. He's got Hume ahead of him wide. He's got Barr ahead of him. Equa just inside him. Equa now forwards to two at Barr, back to 09 wide, looking for Barr. Barr though runs into trouble. Is pulled down by Edmondson. Free kick, right side of midfield, around halfway inside the Ipswich half.
It's all about the delivery, Nick, in here, the quality of the ball in.
Ipswich's next game is
this first half's gone really quick, like.
At Leicester City, and then they've got a home FA Cup fourth round tie against Maidstone. Pritchard will take the free kick. Ipswich holding a line 19 yards or so outside the penalty area anyway. Broadheads to the wall.
Good ball in.
Pritchard from the right then curls this in, drops for Elise. Ballard trying to head it on, goes down. A half looked at the referee, feeling that there might have been a push, but it's come back out to Pritchard, headed out again by Edmondson. Equa will deal with this. Jackson goes to close him down, back to Hume. Hume will play it back to Patterson at the edge of his penalty area, and it's still 1-1 as it's played wide to Equa and Barr further forwards, and he's trying to get away from Davis. Plays it back to Equa, and he lifts one high in the air. Jobs through the middle. Harry Clark gets above him. It could break for Pritchard, but the second ball picked up by Edmondson, driven straight at Elise. Now Neal peels away from Chaplin in the centre circle to Equa, and forwards to Hume. Hume making a run down the right now, laying it off to Barr, and Barr back into the corner, leaves it for Hume. Cross in the middle to Pritchard. It's very congested as Broadhead gets it out. Here's Equa, back to Neal, and across to the right again. Equa down the line, a stretch for Barr, couldn't get his foot on it. Throw to Ipswich. 44 minutes almost.
Michael Beale keeping his hands warm in his pockets.
Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1, here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Davis with the throw, back to Edmondson, out to Davis again on the left wing. Looks for Travis. Not a great touch from him, but Broadhead got on the end of it, but gives it straight to Pritchard in the middle here. And Pritchard finding Neal, taps it straight to Wes Burns. Burns now closed down by Jack Clark, gets it out wide here to Harry Clark. Jack Clark blocks it, throw to Ipswich in the last minute of the first 45. We've barely had any stoppages. I can't see much more than a minute being added on.
I would say we've got 2 minutes added on. I would say there's not much.
Ball back to
But do you guys think 1-1's a fair result so far?
Out for Ipswich, and Job stationed in front of him. Wide to Davis. Davis on halfway, back to Edmondson.
Yeah.
Here in the middle to Wolfenden. And Wolfenden back to Edmondson. The fourth official is John Busby. He's about to raise the ball above his head, and we'll have 2 minutes.
The fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 2 minutes additional time. 2 minutes additional time.
And Harry Clark on halfway, out wide to Wes Burns, closed down by Jack Clark, swings in across, headed out by Dan Ballard. Travis looking for it, so too is Job, nods it across to the left to Dan Neal. Neal to Pritchard, inside of him, back behind him Job. He finds Elise on the left and down the line to Dan Neal. Wes Burns tries to block it. Elise gets it forwards. Jack Clark's got it on halfway. Just can't quite keep it in. And it's a throw to Ipswich on halfway on the right-hand side. Back it goes to Luke Wolfenden. Nearly a minute of the 2 has been played. It's played on down the left wing to Davis, just inside the Sunderland half, inside to Jack Taylor. Taylor back to Edmondson, former Oldham and Rangers defender, comes back
my
to
prediction was right, so 2 minutes added on, and that's exactly what it is.
From Salford City a couple of years ago. Back to him, and he plays it out now on the left to Edmondson, up to the halfway line, looking to run a broadhead, cut out by Hume. Equa plays it back to O'Nien, who squares it to Ballard. Ballard closed down by Chaplin, back to O'Nien.
I'm happy with the performance so
Then
far. I
twists
think
away
we are
from
passing
Jackson
it around
back
well.
to
It's
Ballard. Ballard will bring this out on the left to Elise into the final 30 seconds of the first half. Up to Equa.
I think Equa's had a good game as well.
By Jack Taylor, to the point where Taylor fouls Equa. He's having a word with Elise, and Jack Clark leaves, or taps the ball back to Ballard, and we are seconds away from Sam Allison blowing for the end of the first half. We played the 2 minutes.
That's it, half time.
Over on the head of Jack Taylor, heads it away out for a throw, which is not going to get taken because the half-time whistle's blown and it's all square. And
all
that's
square.
probably fair on balance of play.
Yeah, you've got to say it's evenly balanced. You've got to say Sunderland, which we were a little bit wary of or worried that, you know, how he was going to start the game. And you've got to say that we've had opportunities. It was a cracking goal by Jack Clark. Yeah, we're disappointed about the goal which we conceded. I think when you look back on it, it was a soft goal. Somehow it's found its way to Jackson.
And at the point at which I think Sunderland they just
switch off.
Subconsciously just switch off because they felt they cleared it.
I don't know if it's had a touch and it's found its way to Jackson, but it's good finish by Jackson. But you've got to say that you know, the finish by Jack Clark was tremendous. He's had a couple of good efforts as well. The keeper's had to make saves. We've worked the keeper, you know. So again, what we've got to do in the second half again is just concentrate, but also, especially around that 18-yard box, keep doing what we have been doing, pulling the trigger.
I mean, you have to say 2 good finishes, both Jackson's and Clark's were great shots.
Yeah, and you look at the 2 teams, 2 good teams, footballing teams who want to play. And you know, Bellingham's making some good run. He's making some great runs. He's causing 1 or 2 problems, but again, from Ipswich, Chaplin for me is the one who's causing us a problem.
So half-time here at Portman Road. It's Ipswich Town 1, Sunderland 1. Still playing, I think, at St James's Park. We're moving up the road. We're going there to be handing over to Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson. Cheers, thank you all.
Hello. Hello. My stand-up moment was Bar's lovely run, the criticism he has had to create the goal. That's my stand-up moment. Just stand-up moment for the wrong reason as well, so I went a little bit at the back. But this is definitely beatable. Get rushing on. Give him a shout. Look what happened against... Who's the last game I've got brain freeze? Who did Russian score against? Jack crossed it in and he smacked it in. Preston, yeah. He's got more options. Like, he's got rushing in. So, like, rather than Clark just trying to cut in, he's giving them more options. And I think it'll be an ideal game for Russian to come on. Because after Ipswich, they're all open at the back. It depends if you're happy with a point. I would leave it as it is and make a late substitution, but if you want to go for the win, then first, if it's still the same 1-1, I would bring him on in 10 minutes into the second half. Yeah, I'll look up some social medias and stuff, yeah, for half time.
Well, as a part of today's match day, the club is supporting the EFL's Community Match Day, which is a campaign designed to highlight the incredible work that community staff and volunteers deliver, as well as the incredible stories of the participants positively impacted. As part of the match day activation, the club is recognising Adam Woodmason today, who's a participant of various foundation programmes, and also with the team down onto the pitch this afternoon. Now, Adam lost his sight 5 years ago, however, with support from the Ipswich Town Foundation and the club, Adam is able to independently attend matches at Portman Road and take part in various foundation programmes. And I'm delighted to say he joins me pitchside today. Can you tell everybody how it felt coming out of the tunnel with the players today, Adam?
Yeah, very good. Surreal. Really nothing to expect. As you can see, lifeguards in front of you. So it's great experience, very good again. I wish I could do it again tomorrow.
What about the sound of crowd mates when the players come out there? You were part of that today.
Yes, it feels very strange. You used to build up, and it gets louder and louder as you progress onto the pitch.
Fantastic experience, and it's the back of your neck go up, don't they?
Very much so.
You're a regular participant of the Foundation's programmes. Can you tell us which ones you attend?
Yes, I attend the Sticky Blues, which happens on Wednesday morning, and I attend the Walking Football on Monday. I'll be attending the most on Wednesday morning.
What sort of difference does that make to you in your life?
It has, because when I was on my years at the dread of the unknowing, what would I have to do, and would I have to do this up, and the social interaction with people who are, say, normal, really, because they're so high.
That's amazing what you've achieved and what the club does for you to help you do that. It's amazing how many people are helping at the moment in the Foundation.
Yes, I've got the hands through.
Yeah, I've got some half-time socials if you want to listen to some, yeah? Just need rushing in to harry the defence. Job covers every blade of grass, but not a natural forward. Rusty Mackham says, take Job off, invisible, sloppy, lazy. I'm getting sick of him being in this side. Cannot justify his place. Competition for places. It's on to Job. For places, Daniel, Patterson, Job on, all need a wake up. Decent first half. All this negative tippy-tappy at the back is going to cost us if we're not good enough for passing around and mucking around at the back. Just look what happened against Newcastle. Playing well against the second best home team in the league. Honestly, I've never seen a worse team for short passes. It's absolutely shocking, and I mean shocking. Goodness knows.
Thanks, Alan, very much. Enjoy the second half, my friends. Time now to get those Grabber brand tickets out, sponsored by the Hudson Group, Ipswich Town Football Club's official match day draw for the match today. First prize
Oi, oi, how are you doing? And finally, is it me or are we just ignoring Clark on the options there? They pull it across to the right, and it's not the first time this has happened.
Ticket number 13948. Second prize of £50 goes to ticket number 12568. That's 12568. Third prize is ITFC 2 gold seats. That's ticket number 13481 and 13481. And the fourth prize is ITFC goodie bag.
I think overall, I think as of 50-50, we're all right with it. We're all right with this half-time score. We're playing okay, and nothing much to worry about. But it's only half-time. You know, they're doing just so well. No, absolutely. Very well, oi oi. How are you doing yourself, mate?
And also those who go to the scoreboard announcement this afternoon can see their message on the big screen now. Announcements are available to purchase throughout the season. Please head to itfctickets.co.uk for more information on how to get your announcement on the big screen here. That's itfc.co.uk for more information. We'd also like to draw your attention to the Sunderland Community Foundation's Surviving Winter Appeal, which is now in its 13th year and has supported many thousands of people in Suffolk.
Back in a second, just got the toilet.
And are working with the Ipswich Foundation as well this winter. The latest local data estimates that a further 25,000 households, that's over 100,000 people in Suffolk now struggling to meet their living costs and need their homes sold out on the road, multiplied by more than 3. We would of course like to ask those who can support the Suffolk Community Foundation's Surviving Winter Appeal. Money raised will stay local and support other people in Suffolk.
Right, I've got no Benno, but there we'll go.
This winter as well. Just a reminder also that to all supporters that Foreman Road is a non-smoking venue. This includes e-cigarettes and vapes. And the club does not tolerate any antisocial behaviour or discriminatory language. If you wish to make an anonymous report anytime, please text 60255. And at the match today will be chosen by our sponsor, Keeping Graham Freight. As always, a massive thank you to our title partner, Ipswich. First substitute will be sponsored by Treadfirst, 121 sponsors of their training. Also a big thank you to the area. And a social sponsor for tonight's Shoe 7 Group. Today's home shirt sponsor, Toby Green. Today's away shirt sponsor, Colliery Hatchpole. Goalkeeper shirt sponsor, Player of the match sponsor, Bicycles London. Our match sponsor, Clarkson Port Services. And our program sponsor is Ashford Construction.
When you unpack, that's not our lead, so you can leave that. No, it's already here, so I've used it.
London goes to see the recognised this season on the big screen.
Happy birthday, mate. Cheers, thanks very much. The only trouble is I'm 1 year older.
Welcome back to Portman Road. While we wait for the teams to emerge for the second half, look ahead to tomorrow, and BBC Radio Newcastle will be across all three of our Women's FA Cup fourth round ties. The show starts at 11:30 and comes live from Lee Sports Village, where Newcastle United are hoping to cause what would be a huge upset away to Manchester United, and we've got full commentary of that game with Colin White and Helen Hardy. There'll be updates through the afternoon from Dom James at Maiden Castle 2, where Durham are hosting Manchester City. You can also watch that match live on the iPlayer and the red button. Then Simon Pride and Charlotte Patterson will bring you second half commentary of Sunderland versus Southampton at the Hetton Centre once the Newcastle match has finished, before we bring you all the post-match reaction from the three games right through until 3:30. And that's all live on BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website and app. You get all that, Benno?
Just about.
You think you can repeat it all?
Repeat it all.
There's a challenge for you. The Ipswich players emerging from the tunnel down away to our right-hand side, just going through a few exercises, running around the cones. As they come out on the pitch to our right, they will be defending that goal to our right-hand side in the second half. Those two goals, one for Jack Clark, one for Caden Jackson, two fairly spectacular goals. What we'll give in the second half? Two, I would argue, and you suggested at the end of the first half, two evenly matched teams.
It is. I think it's a good footballing game, but we've got to make sure that we switched on for the full 90 minutes, because, as you mentioned before at the start of the programme, is that Ipswich are the best from coming from behind. And we're supposedly are the best
at taking the lead. And as we also suggested, a draw was probably the most likely result, but
I think there's more goals in the game.
I think you're probably right. Interesting to note that 4 of Ipswich's last 5 league games have ended as draws. Drew here, Norwich 2-2, maybe that's slightly exceptional. Leicester, they drew here 1-1. Drew here with Queen's Park Rangers 0-0, and they drew at Stoke 0-0, and it's currently, of course, 1-1 as Ipswich about to start the second half. Referee Sam Allison, all in black tonight, just checking with the officials as Barr jogs back. Patterson in goal, Hume, O'Nien, Ballard and Elise Chaplin's about to get the second half underway. Neil Equa, Pritchard, Joe, Barr and Clark as we get underway here. The ball back to Edmondson. No changes to either team at half-time, and injuries aside, why should there be? Both teams have played pretty well the first half. Both have made mistakes, obviously, but both teams probably have made about the same number of mistakes as each other.
They've cancelled each other out.
They have, haven't they? Yeah. Wolfenden at the back here, just behind the centre circle. Ipswich in blue and white, Sunderland in their red and white stripes. Dan Neal to Elise, trying to push it forwards. Harry Clark wins it though, goes round Neal, goes round Equa,
so easy.
Rolls it out to Leif Davis on this left-hand side. He's going to try a shot. Oh, it's palmed in the air by Patterson. It's swung in the air as well, the shot. Patterson palmed it up. It was a good attempt by Leif Davis, who knocks it out into touch here on the left wing.
Good shot.
Can't have been easy for Patterson.
It
watching
moved a little bit,
movement of that ball.
Yeah, it moved.
Some way out.
But the worry for me, Nick, is that Clark was able to go through 3 tackles.
He did, yeah.
And come out with the ball.
So still 1-1 here on BBC Radio Newcastle. Hume back to O'Nien, back to Patterson, all in yellow, way to our left. Pushed out to Ballard, Ballard out wide then to Elise. And knocked out by Wes Burns into touch for a throw to Sunderland. Halfway inside their own half. A couple of minutes into the second half. Drops to Jack Clark, Wes Burns right behind him. And he managed to knock the ball away. Ekwa wins it back, but in goes Wes Burns. Pritchard goes in goes Travis and knocks the ball forwards, and Jack Taylor gets it out to Davis on the left. Back to Taylor forwards to Broadhead. Broadhead in the middle of the Sunderland half.
Too easy.
Ekwa lunged at him but misses it entirely. Barr tackles him. Pritchard back to Barr. Barr just tried to sweep it past Edmondson, who stuck his foot out. And a throw to Sunderland on the right, 15-20 yards inside the Ipswich Town half. One defeat here at home, that was to Leeds United earlier in the season. Leeds, who've done the double over Ipswich this season. Here's O'Nien back into the middle to Ballard, and Ballard wide to Elise into the centre circle, the edge of it at least. Ekwa trying to find Dan Neil, bringing this on down the left-hand side. He's corner of the penalty area, finds Joe, but he couldn't get the ball back, and it's come back out in the end to Jack Clark. But there's a foul over on the far side.
Get up, man. There's no wrong with you. Absolutely
corner of his own penalty
nothing
area.
wrong with you.
Davis, I think it is. He's just kneeling up now, the Blackburn Rovers loanee, 26-year-old.
Rolling around like that, like you're friggin' funny.
49th minute. Wolfenden will take the free kick back to his goalkeeper. Flagkey, who's all in yellow this evening, wide to Davis, back inside to Taylor, and then behind him on the left, Edmondson, who rolls it across to Wolfenden, and wide to Harry Clark. In front of him is Jack Clark, inside to Wolfenden, a short pass forwards to Taylor, back to Harry Clark, to Wes Burns, to Chaplin down the line, looking for Wes Burns. Wes Burns sprinting away down the right wing, but the flag is up, and it'll be a free kick to Sunderland.
Good line.
Halfway inside their own half, and Elise drops the ball at his feet. We're in the 50th minute. Elise a few yards in from touch. Forwards to Job a few yards, back to Elise, back to Ballard, closed down by Jackson, who nearly got a touch. It's come back to Patterson. Jackson goes to pressure him, out to O'Nien. Broadhead closes in, but O'Nien's played the ball up to Wolfenden on the halfway line. He'll get it back from Jack Taylor, and Wolfenden back to the goalkeeper, who passes it away from Job, who thought he was going to kick it over him, I think. Forwards to Davis, inside to Taylor, and chested on by Broadhead. O'Nien gets it back to Patterson from the edge of his area, drives it up onto the head of Travis, back to Ballard, who heads it forwards again, straight to Travis. Travis now looking for Jackson, but Ballard's got in front of him, and Jackson pushes Ballard over.
Defending.
The crowd,
Excellent defending.
feel he went
And
down
Ballard.
too easily. Ballard for the free kick, but there was definite push from Jackson. And free kick to Sunderland. You can hear Ballard now, the comedy villain of the piece, as Dan Neil goes round. Travis is looking for the run down the left wing of Jack Clark. Harry Clark chasing him. Jack Clark's got the better of him there, slips the ball inside. Free kick.
Free kick.
Foul by Jack Taylor.
Great
He's
play
going to
by
get
Jack
yellow
Clark.
card.
Excellent play. But again, great feat by Dan Neil.
Set that up, Dan Neil. Jack Clark sprinting away down the left, cutting inside around Harry Clark, but brought down in the 52nd minute.
Great position for Pritchard,
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's got Pritchard written all over it.
It's an ideal distance for him, up and over. 52nd minute then, as I was saying, for that second Ipswich yellow card. Harry Clark.
Pritchard territory, this, isn't it?
First half. Pritchard with Equa
Very
on
similar
his
to his free
shoulder.
kick when we played Wickham in the
Jack Clark
playoff
and
final, and
Dan
everybody
Neal,
thought it was in.
at the back of the D, having a conversation. Jack Clark strolls away and tucking his shorts up as he does. A wall on the angle, halfway between the
I want to know what
corner
flavour
of the
chewing gum he's got.
6-yard box and the corner of the penalty area on the Sunderland left as we look
the
down.
wall. You've got to miss the wall. Don't hit the wall.
Pritchard then, the goalkeeper crouched. Pritchard with his right foot,
Too
just
high.
tipped over the bar. Clearly looking for the top corner, but just a little bit too much. And a goal kick to Ipswich Town. All square still. Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1. Edmondson tapping it back to Václav Plagky, who's urging everybody forwards in his big black gloves. I mean, these gloves make him look like he's got frying pan hands, don't they? Huge. Out to the left to Edmondson, back to the keeper. Job goes to close him down, plays it out to Wolfenden and out wide again to Harry Clark. Inside to Travis, chased by Pritchard. Forwards to Burns, who lays it off to Chaplin. Connor Chaplin on the halfway line into the path of Taylor. Through the middle, Burns, back to Chaplin. Out to the left to Davis in the Sunderland half now. Just back behind him is Edmondson. Edmondson looking for the run of Davis, perhaps. He is. Cut out by Hume, but hasn't gone out. Davis has run onto it and brings it back here for Taylor, who pushes it back to Edmondson on the halfway line, and back to Wolfenden, who drives it straight at Job. Job gets it, if he can, out to Barr on the right-hand side. Barr taking on Edmondson. Edmondson's pulling him back.
Oh, that's
him
a
down.
foul. That's a free. That's a booking.
That's another booking. And another Sunderland free kick. Referee had a quick word with Barr then for some reason. Pritchard strolling across.
Did Barr get booked?
I don't think so, but he had a word
This
with
is
him.
where we could do with like a Ross Stewart up front,
Edmondson
isn't it? When you
definitely
get
got
these in-swinging free kicks.
Pritchard in his white boots stands with his hands on his hips. Broadhead again is the one-man wall. 55th minute now. Equa's just to the left of Pritchard. The wall, the line held 19 yards out. Job wide on the left of the wall. Here's Pritchard's ball in, headed towards O'Nien, who's headed it well wide.
Yeah.
Didn't get any real direction on that. Ballard and O'Nien close together, but it was O'Nien got to it first. Heads it halfway between the post and corner flag. Short ball out from the goalkeeper. The referee says it was a rolling ball. Start again. I think that's a bit overly pedantic, bearing in mind the amount of times it's getting knocked between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. But out comes the goalkeeper with it, passes it out to Wolfenden, wide on the right-hand side, closed down by Joe, back to the goalkeeper at the edge of the penalty area. He's in light green, a darker green.
Build up for the free kick, yellow card, and hands out for a goal kick.
Out wide to Harry Clark, back to Wolfenden, and Wolfenden now to his left. Was almost dangerously short because Barr was closing in, but they get it up to Broadhead, who gets it to Jack Taylor, who lands it on the head of Dan Neal, and Hume steers it back to Patterson now.
That's not a foul.
Jackson.
That is not a foul.
Absolute meal of it.
Jackson's made a meal of that, by the way.
Meal of it. Caden Jackson down on his knees is trying to say that he was elbowed in the face, and it was nothing like that.
He didn't do anything at all.
And he's trying to indicate it was an elbow and trying to get the home supporters on his side, and the referee's it's going to be a drop ball for Dan Ballard. But that was ludicrous, really, I think, from Caden Jackson. Connor Chaplin's trying to hold a conversation with the referee. Connor Chaplin's the captain of Ipswich. And Sam Allison, the referee, is pushing him back, pushing him away.
Play the ball to the keeper.
Yeah,
Is he?
I think he's dropped the ball to Ballard. And out to Eckwer on the left. Down to Jack Clark inside on halfway to Dan Neil, looking for the run of Jack Clark. Harry Clark trying to get across him, does. Brings the ball down in front of Pritchard, slides in and clears it back up into the Sunderland half. And Jackson goes through the back of Ballard on the halfway line. Throw to Sunderland. Back to O'Nien, chased by Jackson. O'Nien plays it out to Eckwer on the right here. And Eckwer drives it down into the Ipswich half. Back to their keeper who's come out wide. Taps it to Edmondson. Down to Davis. And he wrong foots Eckwer. Takes it on Davis.
You've got to get to him.
Chase. Tried to slip it through. Blocked by the outstretched right foot of O'Nien to Pritchard. Pritchard in the middle. Lays it off to Elise. And Elise now wide to Jack Clark. Jack Clark finds Dan Neil. Out on the left is Pritchard, just in the Ipswich half. Pritchard lifts one over the top looking for Job, headed away by Edmondson. Straight here to Dan Neil, who lays it off to Barr. Barr in the middle is going to shoot. Over the angle.
Trey Humes on the right hand side, play him in.
It was a yard over. We're in the 58th minute. It's still Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1, live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Out comes Clef-Hartley. Job in front of him. The Czech plays it to Wolfenden. And the 25-year-old local plays it back to the goalkeeper and out to Edmondson on the left-hand side. Wide to Davis. And he finds Taylor, Job on his shoulder. Jack Taylor wheels away into the middle, leaves it for Wolfenden, just outside the penalty area, back to the goalkeeper. Keeper out through the middle again to Jack Taylor. Turns it away from Job and Pritchard. Picked up by Travis.
Would you bring on subs yet or not?
To Harry Clark. And Harry Clark into the centre circle. Taylor, Eckwer didn't challenge him. It's played back and out to Davis. Davis inside again to Taylor. Forwards to Broadhead. Broadhead back to Edmondson on halfway. Taylor given away straight to Eckwer. Eckwer now is cut out by Chaplin straight to Pritchard. He finds Neil, back to Pritchard. It's an optimistic ball through to Neil, who's tripped up by Wes Burns. And it's a free kick to Sunderland, who I think wanted the advantage.
He was away.
He was away
from Burns.
But it's pulled back for the free kick. We're on the hour mark.
Yellow card.
Yellow card for Burns now. Ipswich clocking up yellow cards. That's the fourth.
And Sunderland have got
none.
They've got one.
Who got the one?
Must have been.
Four, I think.
Do you think he got one? Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can have that confirmed, but I'll try and check that. I wasn't sure.
How the hell does he give a free kick for a handball for that? And he didn't give a handball either end in the first half. Answers on the postcard, please.
Free kick, and hear the response of the Ipswich fans to actually getting a free kick. Wolfenden with the ball, plays it back across to Edmondson, back to the goalkeeper. Job slips, is out to Jack Taylor, he goes past Pritchard. Taylor through the middle, up to the halfway line, straight through the middle, back to Anthony Patterson, who gathers it at the edge of his area. Now with O'Nien trying to find
up a yellow card, Sunderland. They have got one yellow card.
Yeah, it must be Barr, there, mustn't it, in that incident with Edmondson. I wonder if he said something. Here's Broadhead from Chaplin, dinks it back across. O'Nien heads it away, only as far as Chaplin. Oh, it comes away off O'Nien for a throw. Blocked it.
Ipswich 4 yellow cards to our 1. I would say Sunderland just on top of this game so far.
Cut out by Hume, sails on past Taylor now looking for the run of Jack Clark on the far side. Harry Clark gets in the way, heads it back to Wolfenden, who leaves it for the goalkeeper. Jack Clark goes to put pressure on him because he was just outside the penalty area, but Cladcliffe slides back in, gathers the ball and bowls it out to Harry Clark on the right wing.
It's getting a bit stretched now, the game, isn't it?
It is a bit. It is a bit. Comes back to Wolfenden. We're in the 62nd minute. It's Ipswich 1, Sunderland 1. And here's Wolfenden again. Pritchard just in front of him, trying to press. Played to Travis, wide to Harry Clark. And he's trying to get away from Jack Clark. Tried to play it through to Jackson in the middle. Cut out, Burns wins it back. Behind him is Chaplin. Inside is Jack Taylor in the middle of the Sunderland half. And he plays it wide now on the left to Leif Davis. Davis plays it back in, through past Broadhead, cleared by Dan Neal. Pritchard caught by Travis, gets away with the ball, away from Dan Neal. Down the right of the penalty area, Burns, ball in, is blocked by Elise. Yells for handball and a penalty, nothing from any of the players. Burns out wide on the touchline again, behind him is Travis. And Travis being forced out by Dan Neal to the touchline. And now Jack Clark trying to get away from Harry Clark. Thought he was tripped up, the referee didn't. Harry Clark still has it. Inside to Jack Taylor, a foot from Pritchard, but it's taken it to Harry Clark. Back in to Chaplin, into the penalty area again. Harry Clark, what a save from Patterson. Comes back out, and in the end it's Job has to clear.
Well done.
Edmondson chases back and gets it back to the goalkeeper. Cladcliffe plays it to Wolfenden in the centre circle. And it's still 1-1, but as you say, a stretched game.
Yeah. And this is where we've got to regroup now. While the ball's got out, regroup as a team.
Hard to see if there are any changes imminent below us, because the dugout's just underneath the lip of the stand.
Yeah, there's a few warming up.
Hume plays it off Davis. It's a throw to Sunderland down the right. I can see Michael Beale and Mike Dodds are in conversation. Burstow, Rusin and Hamir are all warming up. Hume to Ekwa, back to O'Nien, into Patterson. Chaplin chases. Patterson played it out to Ballard. Ballard down the left wing to Elise. Inside to Dan Neal. Neal across the middle to Ekwa. Forwards down the right to Hume. And Hume plays it into the path of Edmondson's looking for Barr. Edmondson's put it out.
It's coming on.
And there's going to be a change. Sheesh is coming on for Barr.
First substitution for Sunderland, sponsored by Treadburst. Coming on is number 22.
I think he's done all right.
He's done all right. I've done a bar.
Yes.
Frenchman for a Frenchman.
So the first change of the evening coming in the 65th minute. Sides all square. Sheesh into action straight away, but it's a throw to Ipswich down on the left, deep in their half. Davis back to Wolfenden in the penalty area.
Chris would like to see Jewis and Bennett come on for unpredictability.
Down to the goalkeeper.
If it opens
in the
up, we've
corner
got
of
the
all
game
places,
to counter.
kick up to the halfway line and out.
Yeah, I know.
Throw.
And NUFC has just come in.
For Sunderland on the left, on halfway.
And he says Ballard scores when he wants.
66th minute now. Elise will take this. He finds Jack Clark, back to Elise. And the ball intercepted by Travis, who puts it out. Another throw. Elise to Job, gets it eventually back to Dan Neal and back to the goalkeeper. And Patterson closed down by Jackson. Out to Ballard. Ballard now looking for the run of Job. And back comes Harry Clark to stick his leg out and push it back to the goalkeeper, right side of his 6-yard box. And Job almost intercepted it. Jack Clark does. Sheesh! Oh, he's missed! How did he miss?
I'll tell you what.
Sheesh on the penalty spot, came back to him on his right foot for the outside of the foot. He's put it wide.
You've got to hit the target.
No, not at all.
Jack Clark awareness was excellent there. They've nicked the ball, they've played it to Sheesh. He's got to hit the target.
He's played it wide of the right-hand post. What an opportunity. it was the press from Sunderland that led to that.
We're good at
And it's
missing
still
sitters,
1-1.
just like, aren't we?
Here is Edmondson. Back
Yeah, I've turned
down
the commentary
the
up, Alan, so
forwards
hopefully
down
you
the
can hear
front,
that better.
the left touchline to Davis, shows too much, but Hume smashes it into Davis. Throw to Sunderland on the right. What an opportunity that was.
Great opportunity.
Here's Al-Shish again. Hume, given the benefit of the doubt, he'd just come on, but it was a clear opportunity. I think he had time as well to just have a little bit longer on the ball, but foul by Chaplin on Neil.
He's done excellent today, Dan Neil.
Yeah,
You know, retention of the ball.
Bring
being
Bar back
available.
on, bring Bar back
Passing's
on, he
been
would have
good.
scored that.
They're making a substitution.
yeah, they are, and it's Jackson's coming off. And
Treble substitution for Ipswich Town. Number 21, Jeremy Sarmiento.
Yeah, anyway, I've seen this a couple of
Sarmiento
cities
is on
recently.
loan from
Man City
Brighton. He was on loan at West
That'll
Bromwich
be
Albion
a
earlier
huge,
this season.
huge win. A massive dent in Man City's title challenge. Liverpool will be
West
supporting
Brom
Wolves
is up
tonight.
as well.
So Burns comes off, Dominic Ball comes on, Travis comes off as well. I'm not sure who was the other subject. The other substitution was Hutchinson, Omar Hutchinson, who's on loan from Chelsea. So 3 changes. Yeah, Sarmiento was on loan at West Bromwich Albion in the season. He played at the Stadium of Light. The Ecuadorian international.
He's not bad
Not
either.
bad, no.
Busy.
But I think Sunderland will be pleased to see the back of Wes Burns.
We're bossing this second
To be
half.
fair, he
right?
hasn't got into the
I
game
don't
in the
really
second
In the
half.
second half, they
Yeah,
kept him quiet.
First half, got to grips with it.
But
I
first
think
half
we were
certainly
one
he
team.
was
We really are in control.
lively, shall we say. Here's O'Nien trying to swing the ball down the right wing, but Wolfenden gets across in front of Jobe, then back to the keeper, back to Wolfenden, out to Ekwa. So
Made a corned beef hash of it, Ed.
we've got 20 minutes or so left. Ekwa back into the centre circle to Ballard. To his left, Alice, and whipping across is Hutchinson, Jamaican international, the 20-year-old, who was signed by Chelsea from Arsenal actually a year ago. 2 years ago now, technically 2024, but was early in the year. Here's O'Nien, flicks it out to Hume, back to Patterson.
Just hope that
And,
mist doesn't ruin us.
Ironically, Hutchinson started his career at Chelsea, then was released, went to Charlton and Arsenal, and now back at Chelsea. Here's O'Nien on the right-hand side, steers it away from Sarmiento, back to Hume, forwards up to Wolfenden, who gets it to Taylor, and Sarmiento trying to get away from Ekwa. There's a bit of shirt tugging going on, then a foul on Jack Taylor. And
Yeah. How
I
much
think the
hash did
home
we
fans
put
want
in
to
to
see a
miss
yellow
that?
card produced.
I think they like to see the colour yellow.
And they do. Here's Wolfenden.
Has
to Harry
O'Nien been
Clark.
kissing
Jack
any
Clark in
blokes
front
in
of
this
him on
game?
halfway.
No.
Back
He hasn't,
to
has he? He's not
Wolfenden.
kissed anyone
20
for a
minutes
while since
left.
that last game, has he?
Jack Taylor out to Edmondson, down to Leif Davis on this left-hand side, cuts inside, through the middle, still going. Now surely Broad Evans offside. Flag comes up, and a free kick to Sunderland just outside the penalty area. 1-1 still. Here's Oshish on the right-hand side. High ball, hangs on the air, over the shoulder of Pritchard, trying to get in front of Harry Clark.
Well done.
Plays it back to Jack Clark, and Jack Clark now, he's trying to drift in on the left side of the penalty area. Pulls it back to Elise. Elise out to Pritchard on the touchline.
Yeah, Tony's
And,
saying the way we
he's
are playing
trying
at the
to
moment, we definitely
shake
should
off
be ahead.
Hutchinson
That's
on
the worry
far
though, that
side.
the fact that we're
Back
not.
to Dan Neil, he swings it back on halfway to Ballard, and now to Luke O'Nien, and out to Hume on the right hand side in front of the Ipswich head coach. Oshish down the touchline, inside to Hume, back to, well, he's going to be cut out here by Edmondson in front of Oshish and allowed to run out behind for a goal kick.
We're still top 6. We're still top 6. We're still top
Still
6 as it stands.
plenty of time, because both sides have been carving out chances. And I'd still argue both sides pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, evenly matched.
You happy with a point
a
today, or
huge
we're
chance.
just happy
That
clapping?
was
if
just,
you're gonna
yeah,
point
Gotta hit the
along
target. That's
tracks?
when you've got to stay calm.
Yeah.
Composed.
A glorious opportunity.
Cheers, Alan.
Edmondson to Wolfenden across the 18-yard line. And Pritchard intercepts, but falls over. And he's hurt himself. He's down, clutching his knee. Keeper's come out to help him up. He gets back up. I think it's some momentary. His arm as well as away. Comes down the right-hand side into the edge of the area, and Hutchinson's shot came off a defender behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, Hutchinson with a shot there.
Got tangled up a block by a defender, and so Davis goes across on the right to take this corner away to our left for Ipswich Town in their blue and white, Sunderland in their red and white stripes. Sheesh is over there. Pritchard still just nursing his left arm, stretching it. The ball swung in, headed high in the air by Ballard to the back of the area. Taylor heading it back in, stabbed out by Ballard. It'll be out to the left, out to the right touchline for Ipswich. Played back inside to Hutchinson by Davis, who's still out on the right, and now inside to Wolverhampton.
Why don't Giles and
Jack
Steve
Clark
like you in
goes to close
UFC?
him down the wing, Harry Clark looking for Hutchinson, and Neil's gone with him. Omar Hutchinson trying to get round Neil.
There's a Newcastle
Neil sticking with
fans,
him.
are we?
He's got the ball. Sarmiento's got it back off him
Just,
into the penalty area, trying to pull it back into the 6-yard box, stabbed away and hooked away by O'Sheesh. Back in from Hutchinson.
Great block.
And Ekwa who's blocked it. All hands to the pumps, 74th minute, still 1-1.
I don't mind Newcastle
Harry
fans
Clark
coming to
wide on the
challenge. I
right
don't mind the banter. The banter's
for
funny, but if they
Ipswich,
start
down the
overstepping
line
the
to
mark,
Hutchinson. Inside is Chaplin, back to
I've seen,
Hutchinson. Elise's with him,
over the top
and
to
Hutchinson
defend
now
and that's
trying to pull
anyone,
it back
really,
to
just
Harry Clark on the right, and inside to Jack Taylor, and Taylor back out to Hutchinson wide, swings across in, and it's headed away by Hume, and a chase for O'Sheesh.
Don't foul,
but
foul,
Davis has
don't
got
foul.
in front of him, and O'Sheesh has fouled him. Free kick to Ipswich.
He's going nowhere. Do not foul him. Now you put yourself
They'll
under
not be
pressure.
pals anyway in
Depends
UFC. I
on the
don't
pressure
even
now.
know the
Yeah.
lads.
So O'Sheesh stands 10 yards from Davis on the left. The
What's
ball
the
a
back
yard in
change?
from
Put a
touch.
striker on, play along the
O'Sheesh to
ball.
the left of the penalty area, and Davis will swing this in with his left foot onto the head of Chaplin, who scores. Connor Chaplin heads it from the free kick past
That's what you get for
Hutchinson,
missing City, isn't it? That's what
and
you
in
get for
the
missing City.
75th minute, Ipswich take the lead.
You know, and they've only got ourselves to blame. We've only got ourselves to blame, Nick. You know, there's no need to give away a free kick. You're just putting pressure on yourself. You know, that was silly. Inexperience, that is, Nick.
Ipswich top scorer.
But it was a bullet headed by Chaplin. But again, who was marking him? You know, you're talking about a
Sailed
player
in,
who's
didn't
not
he?
the biggest, but somehow great ball in. You've got to say quality of ball in
Yeah,
was
it was a
excellent.
good ball.
But nobody near him.
So Chaplin, who's named captain tonight, first start I think this season for Connor Chaplin. Bullet header running in on that. Great delivery from Leif Davis. And 15 minutes to play, Ipswich take the lead. So Ipswich through Sarmiento trying to get through again. Dan Neal has fouled. I said earlier how open this second half has been.
We said there's got more goals.
There were And now Elise back
You
to
wait until the
Ballard.
3-1 down.
Across to O'Nien. O'Nien forwards to Aushish on the right here on halfway in front of Michael Beale. Ball just
Now's the
rolls
time
out.
you put 2
Throw
forwards
to
on. Ashtree and
Sunderland on
Waterbank. Beale
the
out,
right.
Kildare, Speakman out. Half the Evans squad out. Kick in the teeth. Any of
Hume.
the
Back to O'Nien. O'Nien, Patterson screaming for it. O'Nien's played it across field to Ballard.
We've got to just keep going. We'll get another opportunity, but you know, again, you just go back and talk about a sheesh chance. When you get them, especially when you're away from them, you've
Well,
got to
his
take
chance, and he gives away the free kick, which leads to their goal. It's
small margin.
It is, and it's unfortunate for Aushish, but it's a stiff learning curve. It's Newcastle 2, Manchester City 2. 78th minute here at Portman Road. It's Ipswich 2, Sunderland 1. Sunderland need that equaliser themselves. Is Elise back to Neil. Neil to Ekwa, just in the Ipswich half.
Sheesh is going to get
the
scapegoat for this.
Elise
doing
now
that free
to
kick.
Jack Clark,
And missing
Harry
that
Clark
sit.
and
It's as simple as
Hutchinson. Pritchard back to Jack Clark, who tried to get it back inside to Job, but hooked away by Ipswich onto the head of Ballard, back up through the middle, and picked up now on halfway by Luke O'Nien to Trey Hume. Hume went wide with Aushish. Aushish looks back to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien is going to go wide again to Aushish on the right wing, and he goes back again to Ekwa, just to the right of the centre circle.
You too, mate. You too, fella.
Elise to Jack Clark, closed down by Harry Clark, pushed down by the defender, who's furious. Quick free kick through to Elise into the penalty area, and he's tried to square
What
it.
do we do when we
Mr.
come
Aushish.
forward, like?
Cross for Hume, and it's stabbed away by Edmondson.
Do we train without any goals?
Fell
Do we actually
slightly
train
behind
without no
Aushish.
goalposts or anything?
It's got to make a connection, Nick.
You've got to see that as a miss.
You've got to make a
Sheesh
connection.
again? Get him off, for God's sake. Get rushing on. Get rushing on. Get a sheesh on. Get rushing on.
29,291. That Aushish again. He was on the 6-yard line. Just got him slightly wrong-footed. Just over 10 minutes left. 11 minutes up to the 79th minute. Free kick for Ipswich, wide on the left. For a foul on Dominic Ball. It's played back by Edmondson to the goalkeeper. Job in front of him, plays it back out to Edmondson on the left, down the line to Leif Davis, and he plays it up to Broadhead, chased by Ekwa. Broadhead swings it across to the right wing to Hutchinson, brings it down on the line, back eventually to Wolfenden, back to the goalkeeper. Pritchard goes to close him down. Across here now to Edmondson.
That's what happens in football.
Forwards,
You don't
flicked inside by Sarmiento to Taylor. He's played it out behind Sarmiento into touch. Down the left wing for a throw to Sunderland.
I just think he might need to freshen things up a little bit.
Starting to wonder, aren't you?
Legs out there.
Here's a
silly free kick
another
again.
free kick given away. Foul on Sarmiento.
Yeah. You know, I just think he needs to bring on some fresh legs, Nick. When you get tired, that's when you start making mistakes, giving away silly free kicks. We're giving away another free kick.
We're going 3-1 down and then fetch another forward on.
Where they scored the second goal from. And it's quality what Davis is putting in the box. He's putting pace on the ball.
Newcastle born left back, signed from Leeds, the 24-year-old. They've been forewarned by the previous free kick just 5 minutes ago. Here's Davis again from the left-hand side, and with his left again swings this in, and Chaplin trying to chest it in.
Every single time a cross comes in from Ipswich,
Angle of bar
we
and
panic
post
and
from
we collapse.
Wolfenden as it
Every
swung
time there's a ball
over
comes into
Chaplin.
our box.
And flicked on by Jack Taylor. Job hooks it clear.
Sorry, what, we've got away with it because Chaplin should have scored. He tried to chest it in, didn't he?
He did, and then Wolfenden hit the woodwork. So it's still 2-1. And the ball back with Wolfenden.
We're getting
the centre
overrun here,
circle.
Nick. We're getting overrun.
Here's Neil onto the chest of Jack Clark. Neil again looking for a ball through the middle for Sheesh, but it's cleared. It'll be out on the far side. Jack Clark and Harry Clark. Harry Clark gets his foot to it. Elise, and then Broadhead intercepts. Elise gets his head on it, and it drops for Dominic Ball.
Oh.
Slips it through to Sarmiento. Hume and they Clyde go for the ball.
Oh, he's giving it the other way.
Hume's penalised. Now, there's a yellow card's coming out
Yeah,
here.
he's going to break Trey Hume because he's given it Ipswich. He's given the free
I
kick to
thought
Ipswich.
it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other myself.
How's he giving that a free?
thought they both
How's he
went
giving
for the
that a free
ball.
kick to
By the way,
Ipswich? Can
some-
someone
well,
please tell me
to
that?
say that it's Ipswich free
Yeah,
kick.
50-50,
The card is out.
50-50 challenge. How's that a free kick to Ipswich? Can someone
Hume, of
tell me
course.
how he's judged that? Like,
Was sent off late on in the first game of the season against Ipswich.
don't swear at him, Luke.
Luke O'Nien's having a word with Sam Allison. Sarmiento still lying on his back on the pitch.
That's 50-50, isn't
Sam
it?
Allison,
I just think we just need to do something different. I
Boxer,
think he's going to make a substitution here.
Hume,
Rusin's coming on.
yeah.
Got nothing to lose, Nick. Might as well
Well,
go
got to
for
go
it.
for it, haven't you? You've
Yeah.
got to go for it now. Who do you think will come off?
I think they'll bring Pritchard off. That's who I think.
Sarmiento's fine, he's up
There
on
you
his
go.
feet.
I'd rather have a
Pritchard
player
again,
sent off
you
than
know,
get
yeah,
Bradley Jack
Pritchard,
brought
yeah.
on.
I think he's done well, Pritchard.
I think he has.
But it seems to be, if there's going to be a substitution, it's
2-3
always
still
Pritchard
on.
who's going to come off.
Now, if we
Loved by the
do
locals.
win
I don't think
2-3,
he's
I will
happy.
sleep with one of them.
No. He's pointing back. He's pointing
Yeah.
down the touchline away from Michael Beale,
Yeah,
down to the
He's-
corner.
yeah, he's pointing where we give the free kick away.
Yeah. '84th minute, Ipswich lead 2-1. Rusin now on, up front with Job. Here's Davis heading the ball inside. Sarmiento headed away by O'Nien just inside the penalty area. Sheesh looking for the run of Rusin. Edmondson cuts across the face of him, plays the ball back down the edge of the penalty area. Hume gets it inside. O'Nien's caught Wolfenden, and then Chaplin puts the ball just past the foot of the post. O'Nien and Hutchinson. Hutchinson's picked up by O'Nien. No penalty, but
Tell
a
you what.
corner. To
I'd like to see that one
Ipswich.
again, Nick, but we could be lucky there. We got away with it. He's give a yellow card.
To Sarmiento, wasn't it?
Yeah, 21.
Yeah,
He's looking to be,
Sarmiento.
in the field there on 9, like.
Well, lively, I think the way the game has gone, it can be described. Corner from the left, which Broadhead's going to take.
We've got to make sure
I
we
think
pick up
they're
here
going to finish it
from this set piece. There's a lot of
Ipswich lead
pushing going,
2-1.
there's a lot of pushing going on. We've just got to be
Referee's
careful
having
here.
a word, yes. 3
Don't be
Ipswich
doing anything
players, 3
silly
Sunderland players around the penalty spot.
and give away a silly free penalty.
They all break. Headed away by Job, out into midfield. Dominic Ball nodding it down, looking for Hutchinson. He's got Neil in front of him, puts the ball down the wing.
We just
The
can't
ball's
finish.
gone
We just
on
can't
to
finish when it matters.
Ball now.
That is the
Behind him is
name of the game.
Chaplin,
Putting the
out
ball
to
in
the
the net.
touchline again,
They've done
trying
it
to get
twice. We've done
inside
it once.
away from Hume. It's down into the corner where
Well done.
I think Dan Neil has managed to hold off ball, and it's a goal kick to Sunderland with.
I mean, was it Connor Chapman for their second? I mean,
less
you
than
better get
5
an
minutes
easier
of
header
the
in
90
his
left to
life.
play.
Nobody challenging him at all.
Elise down the line, Jack Clark, Harry
No, I
Clark
didn't
on his
even-
shoulder. Jack Clark comes back into the middle of his own half, stabs it away from Broadhead, back to Ballard, across to O'Nien here. O'Nien now to Hume, back to Patterson. Patterson to Ballard, and Ballard taking this on and rolling it out to Jack Clark on the left wing. Hutchinson tried to tackle him, through to Job, just inside the Ipswich half. 87th minute, Elise through to Ekwa. Ekwa trying to get it into Rusin, but cut out by Wolfenden and played out by Harry Clark to Hutchinson again. Back to Harry Clark, out to Chaplin in midfield, who leaves Neil on the floor, and Chaplin breaks. It's 4 against 3. It's rolled down the right here now to Hutchinson, but Ballard slides across him and tackles him. And comes away with the ball down the touchline on the far side, and strides up and looks for the run of Rusin, but the keeper will come out. Ashish was one to get played to him on the right, and the
Jonathan says no clue with starting 11, no clue with subs. Goodbye season.
On the left
best
wing
for
Sunderland. 87th minute. It's left for Elise to take the throw. Back to Job. Job to O'Nien in the centre circle, wide to Hume. Into the 88th minute. Hume, Sarmiento goes with him. Hume tries to cross. Davis blocks it. Throw to Sunderland on the right. 10 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side. Ashish taking this on, playing it back now to Dan Neil in the middle. Neil
Soccer was a big mistake. Do you still think that was a big mistake?
Clark, Hutchinson in front of him. Jack Clark having to come back in the middle, playing it to Luke O'Nien. O'Nien down the right wing to Hume. Hume looking for the run of Ekwa. Down to the goal line, into the corner, being forced out by Edmondson. Holding Edmondson off. Ekwa flicks it back here to O'Nien to swing in across. Wolfenden hooks it out. Throw down the right wing, quickly taken by O'Nien to Hume. And flag comes up, it's just gone out. O'Nien can't believe it. Throw to Ipswich. 2 minutes left of the 90, and Burstow's going to come on.
You know, again, you know, you look at the timing.
No wonder Pritchard was chased off when he come off. He only played doing well up front.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to come on for Job.
I just think that he should have been introduced a little bit earlier himself.
Number 11, Mason Burstow, replacing number 7, Joe Bellingham.
And Broadhead's coming off. Harness is coming on.
Harness replacing 33, Nathan Broadhead.
Do you think this one's a free hit because the fact Ipswich is second off top?
Against Sunderland.
Is that how we can get out of this one?
Comes on then. That's Ipswich's 4th change. I wonder if they're gambling on getting quite a lot of added time. But here's Chaplin again.
Good effort by the lads. We only lost 2-1.
It
was a silly lack of mistake. We missed an open goal,
which Elise takes quickly back to Patterson. Harness is giving chase on that far side. But eventually out for another Ipswich throw. Harry Clark comes forwards to take this for the home team. We're in the last minute of the 90. 2-1 to Ipswich Town. Taylor stabbing it away from Burstow, back to Wolfenden, back to the goalkeeper who's come out of his area, passes the ball out through the middle to Jack Taylor, and then it's swept up into the Sunderland half. Elise has to sprint back. Chaplin gives chase, played back to Patterson. Harness is in the middle, just in front of Patterson, but it's played out to Ekwa. Elise, and then back to Ballard, and Ballard out again to the wing to Elise, who's looking for the run of Burstow. It's 5 minutes now.
Indicated there'll be a minimum of 5 minutes additional time. 5 minutes additional time.
Will Sunderland engineer another chance in those 5 minutes? The ball down the left again here for Jack Clark, trying to come in on the left of the penalty area, pushes ball down.
A lot of fans are saying Bale must score. I mean, are we being absolutely ridiculous here after how many only games
right
he's been
on the
in charge?
edge of the area, given away by Jack Clark, who opened the scoring with a terrific shot in the 26th minute. But Caden Jackson, another good effort from him in the 33rd, and then Connor Chaplin, the Ipswich captain, heading the second for them in the 75th from a Leif Davis free kick. Ashish missed an absolute sitter and then gave away the free kick that led to the goal. Throw for Sunderland, and there were 2 balls on the touchline for a brief moment, but Ballard gets the ball forwards up to Burstow, heads it down to Ekwa, back to Burstow behind
You can't
Neil.
go. Would it be classed as a successful
put him
season
off,
if
but he
Sunderland finished 8th
plays
off
it
bottom
out
this
through
season?
O'Nien to
We
Hume,
didn't get relegated.
into the middle then to
Would
Dan
that be
Neil.
classed as a good season?
Neil
'Cause
through
obviously
the
we've not gone down,
centre
have we?
circle, out wide on the left-hand side to Jack Clark. We're in the second minute of the 5 being added
I
on,
mean, look at
and
the
here's
state
Jack
of that,
Clark
man.
back to Dan Neil, and he tries to
No.
play a ball in for Burstow, but it sails up and out. Behind for a goal kick to Ipswich. There's a few people leaving, but nobody else. It's been an electrifying game,
Yeah.
and I'd still
Sunderland
say
fans
there's
look
not
well
much
finished
between the
off, mate.
teams.
They look well
There's
finished
not
off.
much between the teams, but then you look at maybe, the turning point or players who.
I mean, Bill's
Made
standing
things
there with
happen
his
like
hands in his
I've been
pockets,
really
just looking
impressed
as
with
much as
Chaplin.
Yeah,
excited.
it's
and
busy. I think it's the word
animated
you
it out.
use. As the ball stabbed out for an Ipswich throw, Sheesh hands it to Davis just in front of Kieran McKenna, and we're in the 93rd minute. Davis down to Harness on the touchline, tries to flick it past O'Nien, wins another throw.
We haven't
Sarmiento leaves
played
it
poorly
to
at all.
Davis,
It's just the fact
who's,
that we're lacking in firepower. We've been saying this for the last 2
been
years.
told by the referee
Since
Sam Allison
Stewart got
to speed
Stewart's
things
gone,
up.
lacking in firepower.
Substitution.
Number 40, Axel Twente be replacing number 10, Connor Chaplin.
So Chaplin's coming off. I think that has been done on purpose.
Manchester
Twanzebe's coming
City's
on,
just scored a last-minute winner against Newcastle.
who's a defender. Chaplin gets a deserved standing ovation from the Ipswich fans.
Yeah, he's done really well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a very, very good game. It's Newcastle 2, Manchester City 3. So it looks like it's going to be a disappointing night all round for BBC Radio Newcastle. Throw down the left from Davis. We're in the 94th minute. Harness is pushed over by Luke O'Nien, but no foul, says the referee. Points to a goal kick. Another ball kicked off the pitch, and Ballard back to Patterson.
Make sure.
Passes it out with blue shirts all around them, but Neil plays it back to O'Nien, quickly out to Hume. Hume gets it down the line to
Who's going to
Sheesh,
see the game out,
and
aren't
he can't juggle the ball and keep it in, and concedes the throw to Ipswich on this left-hand side. Ipswich 2, Sunderland 1. I wonder who this will be. Well, Harry Clark's been given it. I'm surprised actually, because I think Connor Chaplin overall has had the better game than Harry Clark. But you can quibble. It wasn't a great deal in it. Here's Harry Clark again. At least they're getting across the front of him and conceding a throw. It's all about Sunderland really, and where they
record so far, Bale, with us
go
then.
next in terms of this window.
How many has he
and
lost, Bale?
where the team needs strengthening.
Well,
And
we all
you'd
know
argue
where-
that
we all know
when you
where.
look at that bench and what we've seen tonight, is there enough strength and depth? And the argument suggests there isn't. As Sheesh tries to head it on, Burstow can't get on the end of it, and it's walloped back up in the air, bounces over O'Nien.
That's a really,
back
really
to
good win for Ipswich,
Patterson
that,
from
like.
George Edmondson.
Come from a
He
goal
rolls
down.
it out now. We're into the 96th minute. Patterson needs to get this upfield. O'Nien
Ipswich fans are
drives it
listening for.
upfield, up into the Ipswich half. Sheesh beaten in the air by Edmondson. Bounces back over Hume for a throw. The referee's telling everybody to calm down. And now
There
here's
we
the
go.
blow.
Another defeat for goal. Well done.
An explosion of sound from the blue side of Ipswich Town's Portman Road, because Ipswich Town have ended a run of 5 league games without a win with a 2-1 victory over Sunderland. It was hard earned. There wasn't much between the two sides, and Sunderland will look back at that opportunity that Sheesh had and feel that was the opportunity, but he missed that and then conceded the free kick.
Cheers, guys.
Which
Sorry, it's
saw
another defeat,
Sunderland
but that's
concede
the
the
winner
winner.
effect, eh?
Yeah, and again, Nick, will use the word inexperience, and I think it's a word which we've been using all season, and we need to get experienced players in to get us through periods like what we've just been through tonight. You know, because it was a silly free kick to give away, but also at the other end, it could have put us in front. I know we look back, but how many times do we reflect or look back on situations where you're thinking inexperience? If you had that
You're welcome,
little bit
Tony,
more
mate.
experience
Thank
or
you.
experienced players to get us through, we would have more points on the table.
It was an exciting game, that there's no question. At times it was very, very open, probably too open in the second half. And two spectacular goals from the boots of Jack Clark and Caden Jackson, but the killer was
Sorry,
a
it's
header
not
from
3 points.
Connor Chaplin. Nobody
Yes.
picked him up. He's not.
Chat.
He's arguably the smallest player on the
One of
pitch.
the smallest players on the pitch. But you've got to say he was busy. He was a thorn. It was a thorn in our side, and you've got to say he was causing us problems. His positions which he was taking up.
The Ipswich players just
Cheers, Ed. You're welcome,
strolling
mate.
back to thank those that stayed in the ground, and there are a number. Sunderland's players have been across to thank their travelling supporters who've got a long journey home now.
So I'm going to end the stream now. Sorry, it's not 3 points
Been
again, but hey,
An
I do
exciting
appreciate
game.
everybody tuning in.
It's been a game between
from me
two
and the gang.
teams who are
We'll
pretty
see you on
evenly
the flip side
matched,
against Hull City.
but
One
ultimately
Sky again.
it's come down to a team that had a